Hey guys, Professor Mule here, and hey, Mr. Joe here. Wow, we really do sound alike, don't we? Yes, we do. Um, Listen, we both wanted to talk to you guys about something important that is happening around the world. Isn't that right, Joe? Yes, exactly. I know a lot of you are in your homes, and if and during this quarantine you find yourself anxiety or the ability to feel alone, not able to talk to somebody, um, I think we need some words of encouragement or story for this matter to explain a little thing that we can share us all. Isn't that right, Professor Mule? That's right, Joe. And I wanted to talk to you something that is going to happen in the distant future. And this happened during one of my travels around in the future. Um, Wanted to center your attention to the person that is right behind me. And of course, if you see it, that is indeed Bronco Pen. Now, Bronco Pen is a person that is going to be in the future. Um, in Cantalot to be exactly. Um, Now, you see, this is in a moment in time in history uh, that he is working on a high level of government, and this is working for a sovereign, in the future sovereign of Equestria. It wouldn't be Twilight. So, and the thing here is that he's working as a writer, writing for the future sovereign of Equestria. Um, and he gains the necessary money to live on by. And he has a wife and children. To be exactly, he has three children to feed, and with the money that he earns, he can barely maintain his family and barely get food on the table to maintain their lifestyle. And of course, his wife tells him every day about their condition and their life, and it's all his fault. So one day, when he's on his desk, he couldn't bear it anymore and just sat there and cried. Cried until he got into a deep sleep. Then all of a sudden, he woke up and had an idea. He scribbled on some words on a piece of paper, lasted for 20 minutes. Then, when he uh, finished his words on his quill, he dashed off to the princess and gave the letter to her. The next day, around the Cantalot city and streets, Her Royal Highness decided always to uh, stroll along in the streets to get to know his subjects and people around, and ponies around the equestrian society. And upon arriving in the corner of a street, he kindly gestured his loyal subject and uh, employee of his of her uh, staff, humbly said to him, "How you doing, Mister Penn?" And he kindly replied to her back, "I'm doing well, Your Highness." And she offered him some snacks that she always brought her along the trip when strolling along in the city. And he kindly took some and uh, ate it happily. And she wandered off again. Now this happened day and day for the past weeks. Now I won't have to tell you by this point that rumors started to spread into the Cantalot elite and the society. Rumors got bigger and bigger, so much that they thought that this man was, or this pony by this point, this colt stallion, um, was an influential a highly regarded member of the staff, of the high staff, which in reality he was just a simple, um, uh, let's just say, stallion of a man who can barely maintain uh, his work. But to the Cantalot elite society, it was they thought that he was a well-influenced man, that he came with a well-influenced family, and he had riches. So people gather around him to offer him uh, projects, influence on many other projects they wanted him to look on, and gave Princess a good look. And with time, he got a good sum of fortune and became a wealthy, well-respected man. Now, of course, Her Highness noticed uh, this this radical change in him, and she kind of wondered and thought and knew why he wrote to her to why he wrote to her to wave a kindly gesture, greeting, and offered him a snack. So, knowing his agility and skill of thinking, she ordered to be summoned in her presence. Now, obviously, our dear Pen was very nervous and very shaken by this, and he thought that he was going to be sentenced to banished to a dungeon or exile in the land. But she gave a kindly, motherly smile and said, "You know, Mr. Pen, I think we need to give you an important kind of a gift." And he nervously said to her, "Well, what is it, Your Highness?" She extended her hoof and just said, a gift of friendship." And with that, he shook her hand softly, and they became good friends ever since. And that is a message, my dear ponies, and all of you out there. And I think that's a good story and moral that we can all share around. The gift of friendship, because around this time, we need friendship. Isn't that right, Mr. Joe? Exactly, Professor Mule. We need this act of friendship in our lives. Because whether or not we are rich or poor, there's going to be a lot of people out there with bad intentions and ill things towards us. But that shouldn't stop us to be who we are. We need to give love and not hate towards each other. And I would like to divert your attention to obviously the Rainbow Road Trip, the film of My Little Pony that started not so long ago. And that's a good story for us to think and ponder on. Because the moral of that story is that we need to give love and tolerance and friendship towards one another. You never know what an act of kindness or a good gesture can give to a person in the hard times and difficult moments towards that person. And a good friend is a person who will be there for you in hard times, even though the world can have obviously ill-fated actions or agenda towards them, or often will never care for the person. But we mustn't be those persons. We as a fandom and as a community need to show to the world what we can do for the better of mankind. I would like to leave you with a quote, and a quote that I think Dr. Wolf, I said to him in in a DeviantArt comment not so long ago. And I think we need that words of wisdom and encouragement towards us all, and a simple message to the world. Ask not what this fandom can do for you, ask what you can do for the fandom. And to the people of the world, or the people who are in their homes, ask not what we can do for you, but what together can do for the better of mankind. And that's the words I like to leave you today. We need to think ourselves what we can do for our fellow friend, for our neighbor, for our families, for our friends, for the stranger on the corner, to give words of encouragement and kindness towards it, and tell them you can do it. Keep on moving. Because at the end of the day, fear and hatred will go away. But the thing that we need to give and last forever is love. We need love to spread around. And in order to get love, we have to, in order to get the love, we need to receive, we need to spread love around the world. And that's a message we like to leave you on this hard time in our lives and in this moment. This is Mr. Joe, and this is Professor Mule, signing off both. Bye bye, people.